The warm Wisconsin summer is giving way to the saturated golden hues of early September sunsets a few miles west of Lake Michigan. Amidst the haze of virtual campfire smoke and the smell of grilling brats, Grid Life iRacers prepares for a trip to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Since 1955, the view hasn't changed all that much, and neither have the sounds of thundering racing machines. In 1 week, we'll be there for real, soaking in the beauty of Road America. There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but this is Grid Life iRacers from the National Park of Speed. Welcome to Road America. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Ido Waxman tonight. Ido, Road America, we head there in 1 week for real, but tonight it's a virtual excursion to one of the fastest and most treacherous road courses in North America. Welcome to Sim TV, and it's time to go racing tonight.
Hey Kyle, thanks for having me. Yeah, Road America is a super entertaining track to commentate for. Lots of action, lots of places for overtaking, so it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, so you've instructed before. You're also a driver. You have I believe, a Subaru BRZ. Or actually, you have an FRS, actually, that you run on track. And so you've got some on-track experience. This place is fast. They call it the National Park of Speed, and they don't give it that name just out of circumstance. This is a very, very fast racetrack. It's treacherous. There's concrete and Armco everywhere. Where is this the place on the racetrack that everybody has to be the most careful?
Yeah, I mean, especially side by side, honestly, the run into turn 4, that there's also a slight kink there where they're going to have to set up, make sure they know where all of them are in that line, and then the kink is the one that comes to mind, the most obvious one. Brave souls will try and go there side by side, but most of the time somebody will back out, and when they don't, then it's real hairy getting to Canada Corner for sure. But then turn 13, which is that overhill blind, there can be a lot of fun battles all the way from Canada Corner into the final corner. So that's what I'm going to look for.
Yeah, so this racetrack is just over 4 miles long, 14 corners. The trickiest of which is, there's a bunch of them that are tricky here, Ido, but we're going to head down to the racetrack. We've got qualifying underway. This was an open session that anybody could have joined. Of course, it's mostly made up of Grid Life iRacers competitors. As we head down to the racetrack, let's go through some of the drivers that are here. One of them, the 82 of Eric Cattell, his most recent success in Grid Life Touring Cup, 3 wins out of 4 races at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course last month. So Eric is here, as well as DJ Alessandrini, the other winner from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and both of these drivers will be back next week at Road America in the real world as we qualify here. How important is starting position? We've got 2 15-minute races, so is it important to be in that top 10, or do you think you can be 15th or 20th and still make your way forward?
I mean, if you're somebody fast who, maybe just didn't get a fast qualifying time in, there's plenty of overtaking spots here. I think if you're anywhere anywhere before really the top 20, you've got a shot to come to that, try and make it up to that top group, but you only really have a lap or two because that fast group is going to pull away from any mid-pack. So, if you think you're fast enough, you really need to kind of push your way through and maybe make some pretty brave moves if you want to keep up with the lead pack.
So Eric Cattell works his way down the back straightaway towards what is known as turn number 5, a great passing zone. Definitely a trouble spot. The opening lap, we're going to have over 40 cars heading down here, and you see the brake rotors glowing on this car. And let's talk a little bit about the Ford Mustang here, Ido. It's a big, heavy car, 3,500 pounds, a 6-speed manual transmission. This car is as analog as it gets, no traction control. It does have ABS. So the opening lap, how wild is it going to be, do you think? And how important is it to get on the brakes early and make sure that you don't end up in the back of somebody else?
I mean, yeah, especially into turn 4, like you were saying, I've been witness and been victim to many a dive bombs into that corner, especially lap 1 and 2, where everybody's kind of jittery, everybody wants to get through. So you just got to survive that corner and then try and make your way across, into the front. But I mean, these cars, they wear through tires pretty quickly. And also the transmission in them isn't very great, and you'll get a lot of drivers get misshift with it, and that kind of provides a little bit of entertainment, especially when they're all fighting for position.
Here is James Houghton out of Canada, and Houghton was a competitor in Grid Life Touring Cup at the beginning of the year in his Acura TSX, and he was super competitive. He won a handful of races at Circuit of the Americas, but since the pandemic began, he's sort of been trapped over there, and some may argue he's got the better side of the deal, but he has not been able to make it to any races this year since COTA, so unfortunately for him, he will not be at Road America next week, but he is here tonight, and Houghton was pretty impressive. Picked up the iRacing thing a bit later than everybody else did in the Grid Life iRacers group, but he ran a couple of the seasons that we did earlier this year and was pretty successful. So we'll see where he lines himself up across the start-finish line here. He's had a lot of practice this year testing his TSX. Now, that's a front-wheel drive machine versus the rear-wheel drive here, and the dynamics of that, front versus rear-wheel drive, that might take a little bit of getting used to, but for someone like Houghton, he'll probably be pretty used to it.
Yeah, it tends to be that people who are pretty fast in real life tend to adapt quickly in iRacing. That's not always the case. You see a lot of professional race car drivers over this pandemic who kind of switched into the virtual racing. They're not all, it doesn't translate 100%, but James is one of those that I'm not worried about at all. And yeah, I mean, in terms of the difference between front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, I think a good driver can adapt to anything. So I don't think he'll have any problems with that.
Ryan Christoph is here as well. He's got a fun little racing machine, a little CRX that he runs in Grid Live Touring Cup, is also a competitor in SCCA events, and he's currently 15th right now with 2 minutes left in qualifying, and he's going to hope for a bit of a better lap time, a 2:30.0 his last time out. That only puts him 15th, and I think you want to be a little bit closer to the front, but I'm looking at the top of the order, and the two drivers I see, DJ Alessandrini, I don't think we need an introduction for him in the sim racing space. He is a spectacular driver in iRacing and in the real world. Austin Cobb, however, found a lot of success earlier in the Hard Times Challenge with the Porsche Cup car. He is second right now, only 3/10 off DJ, and this is a driver that I would watch out as maybe the person that could upset DJ and maybe steal a victory or two tonight.
Yeah, I've personally tried being the keyword against Austin in that series, and he's a fast driver and he's a smart driver. I think he definitely has the strategy part of it down. I mean, racing virtually is more than just pure speed. It's also about the strategy and understanding when to try and make a pass, when to kind of stick your nose behind somebody, and he's definitely got those kind of racing awareness. So yeah, he's going to give DJ a real run for his money for sure.
Less than a minute left in qualifying. It's Alessandrini, Cobb, Tyler, Cathers, and Chow at the top of the board. James Houghton jumps up to 6th on his second lap out. Shane Sullivan, Max Lupfer, Matthew Morhart, and Eric Cattell, the rest of your top 10. Then it's Josh Clark, David Haynes, Ryan Carwile, Andrew Chow, and John Weschler, the rest of the top 15. Ryan Christoph, as he comes up the hill here. This hill, out of turn 14, this leads to a lot of drag races to the start-finish line. And DJ Alessandrini is upset by, how about Jeff Tyler to the top of the board by 3/10 of a second at 2:26, 188. That is unbelievably fast. Tyler out of California from the huge ass camp. That's a pretty impressive lap time.
Yeah. Oh, and here comes Clifford Evan. Also upsets DJ. This time a little bit closer, but looks like these two are going to try and fight it out up there. And Shane Sullivan separates Austin and DJ in the second row there.
Pretty impressive for a couple drivers to dethrone DJ at the tail end of qualifying. What's our format tonight? Two 15-minute, well, roughly 15-minute races. I think there's 7 laps apiece in 2 different heats. We're going to run everybody in the first race, then invert the top 10 from our race 1 results, and we'll run the second 7-lap race with those top 10 inverted. So we'll head back down to the racetrack here. The starting lineup will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Tyler, Eben, Alessandrini, Sullivan, and Cobb now the top 5. Pretty short pace lap here before we turn them loose. And then the run down to turn number 1, and this is always a point of contention. This track is only 32 feet wide, and the reason why is because in 1955, when they paved the racetrack, a standard road grader was only 16 feet wide. They made 2 passes and said that's enough, but this place is very, very narrow.
Well, today I learned that fact, so thank you for educating me. Yeah, it can get too narrow in a lot of spots. Fortunately, into turn 1, there's maybe a car width of runoff on the outside of 1, and then you've got a kind of a relatively long run into 3 that's kind of going to maybe help stretch the field a little bit before they all go piling into turn 4. That one's going to be where I'm going to look for the most, or hopefully the least carnage. And then from there, it's, I think things are going to stretch out.
Yeah, I think once you get down to the left-hander at the bottom of the hill, that's where things will start to get spread out. Then up under the Corvette Bridge to turn 6, 7, and 8. They call this section hurry downs before you head into turn 8 at the bottom of the hill. This is very similar to the one earlier in the lap. Then turns 9 and 10, that's the carousel, will lead you over to the kink. And this is a very fast corner with very little room for error. These cars will be well over 110 miles an hour. Then the run to Canada Corner, the northernmost part of the circuit, through turn 13 and up into the final turn. That's where everyone is now as we await weight to pace laps here. Again, my name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Ido Waxman for Sim TV. And the Grid Life iRacers Mustangs from Road America about to go racing. Here's a look at our weather here, Ido. Relatively cool afternoon here from Road America. 71 in the air, 74 on the racetrack. And cloudy skies, or at least partly cloudy, so it should be pretty grippy out there.
Yeah, and that's also going to help tire life a little bit. So towards the end of the race, it won't be as kind of sketchy as these Mustangs can start feeling pretty tail happy once you start wearing through those tires. So yeah, that's going to be a benefit for everybody. It's going to keep the action close.
All right, the field now heading out at turn number 14. The pace truck going to make the hard right-hand turn onto the pit lane. That leaves Jeff Tyler and Clifford Eben at the front of the field. And as they climb up the hill, it is a pretty long wait to get the green flag here at the National Park of Speed. But once that flag flies, we're going racing. There it is. Green flag flies, and we're racing from Road America for the Grid Life iRacers Mustangs. And they thunder down to turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like DJ's got a good tow here with Jeff as they come into turn 1 here.
Into turn 1, Jeff Tyler pulls ahead for a moment. Ebert and Alessandrini side by side. DJ on driver's right. Then behind him, Shane Sullivan looking for room to race. There's the bright orange car, James Houghton, looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. Bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide for the 55 to Clifford Eben. He hangs on, and Alessandrini grabs second.
Yeah, he's got plenty of room there in turn 2. You can see he was side by side with Clifford the whole way, and now they're going into turn 4. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, there was a spin in the background. It was Nathan Nelson in the 34. He looped it out of turn number 3. Now down, loop for really deep on the brakes, and a bit of a stack up behind them through the bottom half of the top 10. There's the 92 car. That's Caleb Hines. Big slide for him, and up the inside comes Robert Hartley. Spin in the background. That's the 29 car of Andrew Chow. He's looped it. Needs to find a way back on the track, but he's going to have to wait for the whole field to go by.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see this top group going to kind of single file here. Everybody seemed to get through pretty cleanly through 4. Oh, and as I say that, of course, we got a little bit of motion.
That's James Houghton. He's gotten into the fence. That's also Tony Chow. Houghton pretty severely damaged, so he's going to have to back up off the racetrack. Let's have a quick look at what caused that here. Houghton was on the inside of the red machine there. Don't know who that was. That was the 31 car, and they just got tangled together. I'm not sure that Tony Chow left Houghton just enough space. They tangled. There was a big incident there. Back up at the front, though, Jeff Tyler leads. Alessandrini right on the tailpipes as they head through the kink.
Yep, and here it comes. DJ is not one to shy away from a challenge, so let's see how we go here. Into Canada corner, it looks like.
Side by side into Canada corner. Alessandrini steals the race lead away from Jeff Tyler. He goes through. Eben was all sorts of sideways out of the kink, but he hangs on and is now trying to close in on Tyler for second. But they're nose to tail coming up through Bill Mitchell Bend at turn 13. There is Max Lupfer on the outside of Austin Cobb, who's dropped a couple spots since the start.
Yeah, DJ went real deep in the brakes and Canada corner, and then Max kind of let Austin go there. Like I said before, that's a place where you can have a big fight, and it can lead to problems going into the last turn.
Well, they come up the hill for the first lap, and it looks like Jeff Tyler's actually gotten back by Alessandrini, and he will lead. Eben going to challenge Alessandrini down the front straight as well, and they head down towards turn number 1. Speeds climbing well over 130 miles an hour. Alessandrini slips into third.
Yeah, it looks like Eben kind of slipped behind Tyler, and DJ was out of the draft, so he kind of didn't have anything he could do there. And he looks like he's giving Eben a bump draft here between 1 and 3.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight place to do it, but he got it done. Eben slots himself into second. Looking a little bit deeper behind, there's a car off track. That's Ryan Kristoff. He's gone wide at the exit at turn number 1. No, well, they get a tangle, and that's another car sideways off with him. And Kristoff's going to loop it.
Yeah, that's just not giving each other enough room there. You know, you've got to kind of respect each other's space, especially in this part of it. Like you said, it's a narrow track, so unfortunately, these two both got the short end of it.
John Weschler, the other car involved with that. Down through turn 6, here comes Tyler, continues to lead the race. Shane Sullivan has slotted himself into 4th in front of Austin Cobb, going to launch an attack on the top 3 drivers. Deeper in the field again, Matthew Morhart is chasing Edgar Sancellini in the 257. Luis Henrique is behind him in the number 43 star car, so good battle there with Kristoff chasing, trying to redeem himself after that slip up at the exit of turn 1. I was just going to mention earlier, turn 1 has runoff room now in real life, just a bunch of rumble strip there in iRacing, so Kristoff may not be used to that, and and that cost him a few spots in turn 1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I was going to say how impressive it is for Sullivan to come back to this group of 3. I mean, he didn't have the draft to help him out, and he's caught right up to them, so that's pretty impressive from him. Let's see if he can stay through with them into Canada corner here, and as DJ takes all of the track he can, and so does Max Lufer, and he saves it.
That was a pretty wild slide through there. James Cathers has an advantage, though. Going to take that momentum to the inside into Canada corner. Big lunge on the brakes. ABS thundering underfoot as he heads into the 12th corner on the racetrack. Big slide on exit. Lupfer has to lift to avoid running in the back of him. But now they've sorted that out. Cathers to 6th. Lupfer back to 7th.
Yeah, and again, going into turn 13, you know, the smart thing to do is to go single file so that you get into the last turn well, and then draft each other up the front straight, the giant front straight there. So, yeah, I think they both played it pretty safe there.
10 minutes to go. We're roughly 6 or 7 minutes in now. Jeff Tyler continues to lead the race. Eben is right on the tailpipes, but for Alessandrini, now it becomes a waiting game. Are you willing to sit in line here? Would you rather be second than the leader on the last lap?
Yeah, I mean, and DJ kind of answers that question for you. He's giving, Eben a bump draft there, almost a little bit late into the braking zone. Looks like Eben kind of missed his mark, and DJ's looks like he's gonna try and take advantage of that here.
Up the inside into turn number 3, brakes glowing on the number 8 of Alessandrini, so he's been using those pretty heavily. Not very effective braking systems on these Mustangs, and their big heavy cars to boot. In the background, I do see Eric Catil lingering. He might be able to draft back up to this group as there's a great scrap for second.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Evan and DJ are just going to fight each other, and here comes Sullivan. He's got the double draft, so to speak, carefully braking into turn 4. He doesn't want to crash into the back of them.
Alessandrini way out wide up over the curbing. Now pulls the car back on the track. He's on driver's right, though. I think you want to be on driver's left here if he can hang on. They don't have the right-hander, but here comes Sullivan up the inside. Couldn't keep the car from slipping and sliding. He'll have to tuck in for turn 7.
Yeah, that was an opportunistic move from Sullivan, and that corner is tricky to do that. It kind of falls away from you, so held it together there, and he looks like he's lost maybe a little bit of space here before they enter the carousel.
And Jeff Tyler starting to drive away. Alessandrini feels the pressure. He drives up underneath the 55 of Clifford Eben, but can't force the move there. Do you see how they're losing time? And DJ is well in tune with that. He knows that he needs to get by this 55 car, and he needs to do it soon. I would expect a move to be forced here, maybe in the kink. The leader heads on through 120 miles an hour as they slide on through.
Yeah, DJ tried to take the inside in the carousel, and that's not the right place to do it. Once you get on the grass, it's going to push you wide, and you're not going to be able to get on the gas quickly enough to get through the kink. That's pretty much a long straightaway.
Oh, he's there. Eben sideways on the brakes, couldn't keep the car from wiggling, and that let Alessandrini get through to second, so moves DJ to P2. Tyler leads by 9/10 of a second. Eben is in third, then Sullivan, and now Cobb has joined the party from 5th.
Yeah, that's a really tight battle between DJ and Eben, but DJ broke very deep there, and he actually had to get on the gas kind of late out of Canada corner, and that's why that groove caught back up with him.
Climbing the hill again about halfway through this race, starting lap 4 of 7. Across the start-finish line now for Tyler. It's a freight train with Max Lupfer at the tail of it. Eric Catil, though, let's keep an eye on him. His last lap, a 2:27.825, a hair slower than the drivers in front of him, so he might need a little bit of help to catch this group that's drafting up in front.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's kind of not in the draft, so the fact that he can put those lap times in with no draft is pretty impressive. He's going to need a dancing partner if he wants to come up and join this group.
Saw the nose dive on the 91 of Shane Sullivan. The nose plummeting on the brakes. This is a fixed setup here tonight, so not a lot you can do to this car other than drive it differently. Here comes DJ to driver's right. Drag race down the backstretch under the Sargento Bridge here at the National Park of Speed. Alessandrini, driver's right. Jeff Tyler, driver's left. UJazz versus Red Bull down the backstretch.
Yeah.
Oh, they touch!
Oh, and there's contact. Unfortunately for Eben, Tyler, that looks like it might end his race. They just didn't give each other enough room there.
No, that was a peculiar crash. Let's go back and have a look at this in slow motion here. They were coming into the braking zone, and did DJ move left? I can't tell from this angle. We'll have to look at it from a different spot. But he might have moved left a little bit into the braking zone. No, I think the huge-ass car moved right.
Well, you know, I don't think they were quite into the brakes yet. It's almost like the car came a little bit loose around that kink. Could be the tires starting to get a little bit loose, and yeah, they just made contact right before the braking zone.
Oh, man, that really stinks for Jeff Tyler, who's running such a clean race up front, but that'll be it for him. Now Eben has to take on Alessandrini all by himself, but Shane Sullivan is lingering in behind in third. Let's keep an eye on him. Austin Cobb's drifted back to find James Cathers, but maybe they could draft together, as you see Sullivan dropping a left rear wheel off in the dirt.
Yeah, and fortunately for GJ, these cars are designed to hit pedestrians, not other cars.
Oh.
It still survived. So these cars are pretty tough when you're kind of doing that kind of contact. So fortunately for him, he was able to survive. And yeah, it's now going to be a pretty tight battle between Eben, Sullivan, and DJ.
Climbing up through Bill Mitchell Bend. Now we've lost a handful of cars since the drop of the green flag. Others at the front, though, have been pretty tight together. Let's drop briefly back to find Ryan Carwile in 10th in the number 71. He's got Edgar Sancinelli in the 257 behind. Carwile started 16th. He's gained 6. Sancinelli has gained, 12 spots since the start? That's a great climb.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Here, if you've got the speed and maybe you just didn't qualify well, there's plenty of places to pass. And especially if you're confident in your car placement, you can really force people into some difficult situations.
Less than 5 minutes to go from Road America. Alessandrini leads. Clifford Eben in behind. These two have a lot of experience racing each other in the MX-5. A very different kind of race car than this one, but they know each other quite well, and I'm sure that'll pay off. Back to Carwile and Sancinelli now as they head down into turn 1. Luis Enrique is in behind them in the number 43 car, and this is a great scrap here for 10th.
Yeah, and that's a very respectful move from them into turn 1. And as I say that, here comes the dive into turn 3. Hard on the brakes, almost didn't quite get it stopped in time, and it looks like that Northwest car really gave him plenty of room.
I think Sancinelli missed a shift at the exit of turn 1, which is what caused Enrique to get a good enough run to pass him. Now Ryan Kristoff smells the blood in the water. He's coming with a big head of steam, going to go to driver's left, down into turn number 5.
Yeah, fortunate for him, he's caught him right in the right spot. Gonna try and take the inside into the braking zone of 4. And again, Sancinelli gives him plenty of room. And as I say that, Kristoff gets a little bit too early on the gas and almost loses all of his momentum. Looks like he's not catching the car of Enrique in front of him now.
And why is this battle important? Remember, at the end of race number 1, we invert the top 10, and that's how they'll start for race number 2. Ryan Carwile is in that 10th spot, but the 43, that Coca-Cola livery, is about to chase him down. That's Luis Enrique. If he passes Carwile, he's in the transfer spot to grab pole position for the second race. Let's briefly check in on a couple drivers we saw earlier. There's Jeff Tyler, who led a couple laps early in the going. He's 23rd, as well as I wanted to check in on James Houghton, who's back out on track in 26th. The last driver on the lead lap right now after his collision at the exit at turn 7. So still out there running, even though the race didn't quite go their way. Back up towards the front here, though, Alessandrini, Eben, and Sullivan, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, DJ is really kind of showing really how much of a pro virtual racer he is. He's just managing the race nice and easy, managing his tires. You can see these cars are starting to slide a lot. Like I said, these cars are heavy. They really punish the tires, and even in these cool conditions, the tires are really starting to go off here at the end of the race. Looks like they have another lap to go after this one.
Ryan Kristoff is up to 13th. He's by Sancinelli, and it looks like he's about to catch Andrew Chow for 12th. So that's a good battle that's going on for position. At the front, though, with 2 laps to go, we go back to find Alessandrini leading. And for those that are watching, yes, there was a fast repair available, and the drivers that went to pit lane have taken that and are back out on track. Remember, there is a second race tonight, so make sure you don't go after the checkered flag falls. We're going to invert the top 10 and go for another 7 laps. But now down the backstretch here, Alessandrini leads. Eben may be plotting to get by him at some point.
Yeah, he's going to have to get closer than that if he wants to take advantage of that draft. Looks like he's catching him a little bit here. Won't be enough to catch him into 4, but let's see if he can kind of catch up on the rest of the lap. And he takes a very wide entry, really opens up that corner. I don't know what the track limit is at Road America, but I've never done that. And looks like, as I say that, Max gets real loose at the exit of 4.
Yeah, I think in the real world, I'm not sure you would try that because the curbing is so rough out there. But I don't think in iRacing there's any limit regarding the usage of that outside section. But I do think it's a little bit of a risk to take that curbing just because it's so much more slippery than the surrounding asphalt. But I've been trying to widen out that corner. He's lost a little bit of time. But let me tell you, Austin Cobb has been hunting Shane Sullivan right now, and I think he's about to take a shot.
Yeah, and like I said before, Austin's a smart racer. He's waiting for that right opportunity. It looks like it's probably going to be Canada corner if he doesn't catch him too quickly into the kink. If you catch each other, if a chasing car catches you in the kink, or right before the kink, it can actually be disadvantageous because you have to lift off in the kink and then you lose all your momentum at the Canada corner.
He's got the slipstream. He has a pretty big run, but is it enough? He's not going to look out to driver's right. He's going to be patient. Sullivan dives in on the brakes, maybe overslows a little bit through the center. Cobb, big counter steer on corner exit with the slip and slide from the gravel on the inside of the racetrack. But for DJ Alessandrini, started in third, and since then has muscled his way to the lead, and the white flag is about to fly here at Road America. He's got 4.048 miles to hang on to this, Ito, as they climb up the hill for the white flag.
Yeah, he's had a scrappy race with Evan and Tyler, but he's in a pretty good position here, crossing the start-finish. Although Evan looks like he's got a good draft on him. Let's see if he can close the gap into one. Looks like he might be a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's about 0.4 of a second. Now make it 0.3 with the slipstream closing in for the top spot into turn number 1. Now it's 0.2 of a second. Now it's 0.1 of a second as they make their way to the apex of 1. It's all about maximizing the straightaway speed in this car. For third place, Austin Cobb has a swipe at Sullivan. Looks back to driver's left. Now back to the right as they head into turn number 3. Can't do it there. Has to try again.
Yeah, I think he was smart there, not taking it into 3, because if he goes deep into 3, it's going to give Sullivan the outside line, and he's going to be able to take more speed into 4. So I think Austin did the right thing there, and he's going to set him up for a pass into turn 4, I think.
This might be the penultimate opportunity for Evan to get by Alessandrini. I don't think he's going to take a look here. He's going to widen the track out, arc it in fast here, try to get a run up to turn number 6. A slide by Alessandrini, counter steer to the right as he gets loose over the curbing. Now the run up underneath the Corvette bridge to the left. Real tight there in the braking zone. Now I think the next opportunity is Canada corner.
Wow, that was really tight there. iRacing can sometimes do these kind of ghost collisions, and that's really playing with fire there.
That was confident and close, but these drivers have a lot of experience with each other. For third place, Sullivan doing a great job defending from Austin Cobb. Lufer actually Cathers is under fire from Lufer as they head through the carousel now. But up in front, that's the battle we're watching. Here comes Evan to the outside. Drag race through the carousel. Going to try to cross him under and have a run into Canada.
That's impressive from Evan. That's real brave, but now he's got a draft. He's going to get through the kink, and he's going to set him up for a pass in Canada corner. But knowing DJ's going to defend that inside line voraciously.
I'm not sure that Evan got a big enough run. Look at the speed he's carrying, though. 135 plus into the braking zone. I don't think he's close enough. Will he take a lunge here or maybe wait towards 14? DJ off the apex by about 6 inches. That might be enough to give Evan a run here.
Yeah, now they're going to go into that last corner, and then it's going to be all about who takes that last, or turn 14 or 15 the best. Let's take a look here.
Turn 14, Alessandrini from third to first. He muscled his way through. Clifford Eben in behind him. Can he run him up the hill? Checkered flag waving from the flag stand. Now it's a drag race. Mustangs, 400 horsepower screaming from the pushrod V8 up over the hill. And checkered flag for Alessandrini. Here comes Eben. Here they come to the line, and by 0.4 of a second, DJ Alessandrini wins race number 1. For Cathers and Lufer, less than that. 83 thousandths to the line for them.
Yeah, that was textbook turn 14 execution from DJ. No pressure, just took it in stride, got the exit he needed, and he held on to that first place.
Ryan Kristoff going to grab 13th, it looks like, as they come up the hill. Edgar Sancinelli, not quite enough pace to get by Ryan in the closing laps. Ian Giebler in behind in 15th. That'll be a top 15 run for him. Marcus Luttrell had an incident on the final lap. He will not finish this race. David Haynes, John Weschler, and more finishing up here, but only about 3 minutes left for drivers to finish up their laps. Here's a quick look at the race results. Alessandrini wins, but Clifford Eben, really impressive. And now, Ito, Luis Enrique in the 43 will get to start on pole for race number 2 as we invert the top 10.
Yeah, that's going to be, honestly, I would not envy the guys who are going to start first through fourth, really, because that group of 6 in the front have a lot of pace, and they're going to be fighting hard to get to the front, especially DJ and Evan and Cobb.
Well, take a breath because you're going to need it. We're going to need it too. We're almost ready to start our second race of the evening. As a couple drivers come on through, we saw James Houghton 25th place, or 24th rather, and I'm not sure he's going to be thrilled with that running position. We'll see if he can improve on it in the second race. Jeff Tyler also outside of the top 20. But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Those guys had, unfortunately, were involved in some incidents throughout the race, but they've got pace. Let's see if they can maybe try and crack the top 10.
All right, with unofficial results, we're going to step away for just a brief moment. We'll be right back for the start of race number 2. Hang tight from SimTV. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's National Park of Speed is Road America. In race number 1 of the night, we saw DJ Alessandrini, Jeff Tyler, and Clifford Eben battle door-to-door, nose-to-tail for all 7 laps. Ito, we get to do it all over again here for another 7 laps. Who you got your eye on this time?
I'm going to have my eye on Austin Cobb. He's starting out in front of DJ and Eben, and he's like I said, he's a smart racer. So I think those guys are gonna have a trouble getting past him, and he's gonna kind of dice through the field a little bit more quickly. I like your pick. I'm going to go with Eric Cattell starting in 4th, an 11-time Grid Life Touring Cup Series winner in his 92 Honda Civic SI. This is a much different racing machine, but he wasn't that much farther off the pace, and he'll be pretty far up the road from Eben and Alessandrini come the start of this race. So the pace lap will begin. Have a quick look at our weather, see if it's changed at all. Just a hair warmer than it was. Shouldn't affect the driving at all. But on pole, Louis Enrique and Josh Klog on the outside. Klog was, I think he was near or got slightly involved in one of those incidents at the start of the race. Stuart Reese starts 3rd, Eric Cattell 4th, Luke for Cathers, Cobb, Sullivan, Eben, and Alessandrini, the rest of your top 10. Yeah, this is we've got some really talented guys here. I'm not familiar with the guys starting on pole in the first couple rows, but no, not trying to take away anything from them. They're going to have a fight on their hands if they want to hold on to those positions. Green flag in the air, 15 minutes on the board from Road America. And now the drag race down to turn number 1. We're double wide as we head to the first corner. On the outside, that's Louis Enrique in the Coca-Cola car. The Josh Klog, Stuart Reese. Reese is in the Tide car. Here comes Luke for a big dive up the inside. Looked 3 wide, thinks better of it. Meanwhile, mid-pack in the background, there's all sorts of 2 and 3 wide. They get that sorted as well. No major dramas at the front. Yeah, when you're back there, especially those fast guys, you don't want to get involved into something this early. Enrique off wide at the exit of turn 1. He'll have to give up a few spots. Big slide for the car next to him. That's Cathers, I believe. Austin Cobb's going to sweep to the left, but Josh Klog the leader as they head down towards turn number 4. And here comes Eric Cattell up the inside for 3rd. Actually, that's for 2nd. I'm not sure what happened to Enrique there. He lost quite a few spots, and Klog looks like he kind of was sleeping on the start, but he managed to make his way back to the front here. Into the corner now, and they're double wide in the background. Everybody nice and neat and tidy so far. No dramas to speak of. At the front, though, Eric Cattell has slotted himself into 2nd place. There's a car sideways in the background. They somehow collect it without making a big mess. And there is Jeff Tyler, who's just squeaked by into 17th place. And he's just trying to get as high as he can as we see Ian Giebler spin off to the left. And more drivers in trouble. There's Joseph Dale. I think he's also gone for a loop. But here's the stack up for the top spot here. Yeah, I don't think Jeff touched him there. He just got on throttle a little bit too aggressively. And we've got this tight battle between the top 4 guys from the last heat race. This is going to be a good one. Now through turn number 10 as they come out of the carousel. Josh Klog leads the way. Eric Cattell 2nd. Max Lufer has slotted himself into 3rd. He's got a big head of steam coming as they head down towards the kink. 117 plus. Look at Cattell all over the back of the race leader. Oh yeah, and Max is going to take the double draft here. I don't think he's going to be able to make a move, but looks like Eric's going to go for it. Now down into the braking zone for Canada Corner. Cattell deep on the brakes. Rotor's already glowing from the pressure he's putting on them. He's through to the lead. Here comes Luke for 2nd. He's going to go for the lead now on driver's right. Cattell slams the door as behind him Cathers tries to hold off Reese as they go side by side through Bill Mitchell Bend. Yeah, and that's where going side by side requires two to tango, so to speak. You got to give each other room, but not enough that you're losing space. And Max with an opportunistic pass here in Canada corner.
Timing and scoring will sort itself out as they come across the line. A couple of drivers taking resets, bumps them up to the top of the board momentarily, but Eric Catil will be the first one across the line. He'll lead the first lap, but Max Lufer, I think he was your pick, wasn't he? Or no, it was Austin Cobb, I think. But Lufer may be the dark horse in this whole thing.
Yeah, Coutil was, Eric was your pick, so you look like you're in pretty good shape there.
So far, it's still a long way to go. 12 minutes left. Here's Evan side by side with Cobb through turn number 1. He's going to squeak on through. Cobb still has overlap on the outside, hits the grass, has to give it up.
Yeah, and that corner is kind of on camber, so it kind of catches cars. You can carry a lot more speed through one than you think.
Sandrini only up to 8th. Car sideways. That's Stuart Race. He started in 3rd. He's around at the exit of turn number 3. But at the front, Catil stretching the gap now to a half a second.
Yeah, Max is going to be the only one, looks like, that's going to try and keep up with him. Hopefully he can make this a 2-horse race with Clog and Cathers right behind them.
And it's a 4-car breakaway at the front. Bit of a stack up the background. Big dive for Jeff Tyler. He is flying right now through the field. He's up to 13th place and only a couple seconds behind nemesis DJ Alessandrini. They made contact in the first race. I'm curious to see if Tyler can get all the way back up there before we get to the 5 or so minute mark. Then I would say that he's a legitimate contender for the race win. Yeah,
he's going to make sure he's got to get past Ryan here, Christoph, to try and catch this lead group so he can get their draft. He's driving with a head of steam.
Into turn number 8 now. He's free and clear of Tony Chow and Christoph, who are battling intensely behind them. Car sideways in front. That's Ryan Carwile. He's off in turn 8. Significant damage to the nose of that car. But let me tell you, Lufer, big slide out of turn 10, but he's there.
Yeah, he's going to get that draft into the kink and then into Canada corner. So let's see if he can try and set up a pass here on Eric. Eric's probably going to defend that inside line.
Note there is Jeff Tyler. It's a pretty sizable gap up to Alessandrini, but if he can get to him, I'm curious how they'll race each other. For 3rd place, here comes Cathers up the inside of Josh Clog. Takes an early apex to try to beat Clog to the corner, and he does. So he's through to 3rd now. Podium spot for the 129.
Yeah, Clog is that lone survivor from that group of 4. Enrique and Carwile both had problems, so impressive stuff from Clog.
Comes Evan up the outside. We've seen him try this move a couple times tonight. It hasn't really worked out for him, but certainly looks impressive as he tries to challenge for a 4th spot. Austin Cobb is in 6th, Alessandrini in 7th. They chase each other to the inside, try to break that draft down the front stretch.
Yeah, DJ's slightly losing track or losing touch with that group, but he's going to be lucky that he's going to get this draft on the front straight to try and catch back up as Evan and Cobb fight it out.
I'm just watching these front 2 here. You know, I think this is such a great idea. Lufer is being very delicate with Eric Catil, trying to push him down the straightaways and grow that gap, because if he pushes Catil clear of the field behind them, then it's just a 2-man race and they don't have to worry about anything in the mirror.
Yeah, this is... And Eric gets really loose on the exit. He got on the dirt on the exit of 3. He's going to lose that momentum going into 4, and Max also has the inside line. So let's see if Eric kind of maybe lets him go and tries to go right behind him. He does. They're not going to fight it out. They're not going to let the group behind him catch him.
I just wonder if that truce is still going to exist. I think that cost him a bunch of time. Look at this. Here's Austin Cobb jumping the curbs on the inside. It's a big stack up behind him and Josh Clog. Alessandrini Sullivan there as well. I'm just keeping my eye on the background. Jeff Tyler up to 11th place now, continuing to climb. Car way wide. That, I believe, is Sancinelli, and he's going to pull the car back on course at the exit of the 5th corner.
Yeah, another one of our top 4 competitors just having a tough race. Starting in that top 4 can put a lot of pressure on somebody, and it's tough to handle for sure.
Eric Catil lost the lead to Lufer at the exit of turn 3. He's got Cathers knocked onto the doorstep for 2nd. Shane Sullivan now dealing with Clog, and here comes Luis Enrique in the 43. As they run side by side through the carousel, the long right-hander, and it looks like Clog is going to be able to hang on for now.
Yeah, and now we've got the top 5, the top 7 are the guys that were fighting out for the top 7 in the previous race. And Cathers, we didn't talk much about him. He's a very, very fast autocrosser. Well, and he also runs NASA road racing, so he knows what he's doing. Oh, there's a guy beached in Canada corner.
It's Justin Ehrlich. Wow, that was a bad spot to be, but somehow the field got around it. They were able to sight that car going into the corner, and Ehrlich did a good job not to back up into traffic, but what happened there?
Yeah, I don't think he was part of that lead group.
No.
I think he was getting lapped or something, but again, very responsible of him to just stay put.
Oh, just got the grass on corner entry, pounds the wall, and just thought better of to stay out of the way. While that was happening, we lost one of our front runners, and that, I believe, was, who were we just talking about? James Cathers. Here's a look at that. Here's a replay down into Canada corner.
Looks like I'm now going to have a curse named after me, and of course, as soon as I say his name, well, we're going to see what happens to him, but I'm going to have to be careful with who I mention from now on.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him right here. He's going to get wide, and maybe it was the entrance here to the final corner. Or maybe exiting the final. Oh, it gets the curb on the apex, drifts out wide, catches the grass, and that was it for Cathers.
Yeah, that's, I mean, he's just pushing it, trying to keep up with that, with the top two, and just pushed a little bit too hard as Eric is bump drafting Max into turn 4. It looks like they're going to try that truce to get away from Cobb, who's my pick to be the winner. But Eric's in a good spot here in second. But as DJ's going to try and go off the inside of Eben, he tucks in behind him. Into these set of corners are not a good place to try and pass people. You're going to lose a lot of time to the people ahead of you. So I think DJ does a smart thing here.
Yeah, he tucks back in behind Eben, and he had a look up into turn 5, but Eben wasn't willing to give it to him and work together. Eric Catil was kind of playing rear gunner, or is playing rear gunner for Max Lutfer, but I'm not sure that they can get away from Austin Cobb. I think Cobb's got a bit more pace than those two drivers, and they're going to struggle to break away from him. It's 6 minutes to go. Next time by will be 3 laps left, and the real question is, can anybody take down Lutfer as he tries to pull away? 8/10 is the gap now.
Well, I think it depends on how quickly Cobb can dispatch Eric. I'm not sure if Eric has the pace to keep up with Lutfer, but I think Cobb does, and Cobb really has to get past Eric here as quickly as he can if he wants to try and catch Lutfer before he loses the draft.
He's got a big run here through Kettle Bottoms into Canada corner. He's going to stay in line for now. That's an interesting move. Catil way late on the brakes, gets slowed down just before he gets to the tailpipe. So Lutfer behind him, Alessandrini is through, going to run Eben off the racetrack just a little bit. 2 tires in the gravel, all good, all clear. Alessandrini to P4. Yeah,
DJ's clean, but he's a hard racer, and if you're going to give him any room at all, he's going to take it. I know that from experience.
Here's a look at it. Here's a replay down into Canada, just way later on the brakes, into the braking zone, then runs him a little bit wide off into the rumble strip, but I think that's a clean pass in my book.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he gave him enough room for Eben to stay and have traction on the exit, so that was just respectful but tough racing from DJ.
Now Austin Cobb has stayed in line here so far. Do you think that he's trying to keep DJ in that second group, or is he kind of having a selfish purpose here and might just sit here so he can have the draft on the final lap?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's bump drafting Eric. I'm not sure if I was in his position if I wouldn't be going for the lead here, because I think he's outpacing Eric, especially in the corners, and he's risking losing touch with Max in order to try and separate himself from DJ behind him.
Jumping back to 11th place, there's Caleb Hides, Ryan Christoph. How about James Howden? He started all the way back in 23rd position. He's gained 10 spots in this race. David Haynes behind him in another huge-ass car. Meanwhile, just up the road, there's Josh Clark, and how about Jeff Tyler now breaking the top 10 up for 8th?
Yeah, impressive stuff from Tyler and Houghton. Tyler, though, as soon as he gets past Andrew Chow, I think he's going to have trouble catching that next group because he doesn't have anybody to draft.
Caleb Hides, that's Ryan Christoph around, and they're going to touch and run themselves into the fence.
Yeah, I don't think he had enough brake in there. I don't think he slowed himself down enough. That was just unfortunate contact. Just didn't have enough brake into it.
Here's a look. Oh, did he? I'm not sure. To the 92. I think the 92 just got in there. He definitely wasn't alongside, so maybe we'll put that on the 92 for now. But
I mean, I think Ryan had the racing line there. He wasn't anywhere near the side of his car. You know, I think he just carried a little bit too much speed mid-corner.
Yeah, obviously not on purpose, just a racing incident there, but certainly on the 92 for that one. Meanwhile, Lutfer leads the way through Kettle Bottoms and into Canada corner. And behind him here is Alessandrini for 3rd, and that is a crucial pass for Alessandrini. And if Cobb can't hold him off, this is going to be a big deal for Catil and Lutfer. But Cobb does a good job here. They're still side by side up through Bill Mitchell Bend.
Yeah, but they're losing touch with Eric and Max. I think Cobb's strategy is backfired here. Trying to be patient with Eric. I think it's let DJ and Evan come back into the story here.
But for Catil, this battle's great because they're able to pull away. 2 laps to go at the front of the field. That's a long time. That's 5 minutes here at Road America. So still plenty of time for DJ to go up there and run these front 2 down. But as long as Cobb is side by side, he won't be able to do that. Evan gonna pick drivers left. They'll give DJ a shove down the front straight.
Yeah, and Austin's got the inside. He's got a bumper on DJ. He's going for it. That's brave, but turn 1's going to give you the room. It's all on camber, so you can still maintain a lot of speed through the outside as they go into 3.
And he's still got overlap into turn 3. DJ's going to turn on down. Plenty of room given there, but he should be able to carry the momentum here and have Cobb cleared by the end of the straightaway, especially with Evan pushing from behind. And I'm sure Cobb feels a little bit ganged up on there, but I think he also just missed his shift, which is going to make things even worse.
Yeah, but when you're fighting with each other in 1 and 3, you end up losing pace to the people in front of you. And as you can see, Max and Eric both increased the gap substantially between 3 and 4. Austin, I think, really made a mistake in not going for that pass on Eric early, because now he's all the way back there in 6th.
Well, it certainly did Eric some justice, but I think Cobb sort of sacrificed himself in the process. I think you're right about that. Now through turn number 7, that's Shane Sullivan battling with Austin Cobb. That's for a top 5 spot. At the front, here comes Catil looking to driver's right on Lupfer. He's going to make a big dive here, and if he can hang on in the carousel, that's a great place to be. He's still got overlap. He's in the gravel, and Lupfer will re-clear. Here comes DJ.
Yeah, Max kind of broke a little bit early to make sure he can maintain his line, and Eric went too wide. He was too early on throttle on exit, and now he's got the momentum through the carousel. Let's see if he can force something into the kink. These two have nothing but respect for each other, and they like to have fun, but it looks like they're both going to be kind of take it a little bit easy through the kink.
Oh, here comes DJ. Catil protects on driver's right. DJ got tires in the grass as they head through Kettle Bottoms into Canada corner. Lupfer leads. He needs these 2 to battle as we're coming to the white flag this time. Side by side for a second, the 2 boys from the Honda camp. One in a 92 Civic in GLTC, the other in an 06. Big slide for Lupfer at the exit of turn 12, and he's going to lose all that ground he just built up.
Yeah, but he couldn't have picked a better spot to do that. This is not a place where, and of course DJ and Eric touch in 13 as DJ gets away kind of scot-free, but Evan took advantage of that. Very opportunistic driving from Evan as Max increases that lead now.
That was a huge mistake by Lupfer, but it all paid off because the drivers behind him got kind of stuck together, and as the white flag flies, Lupfer has a 0.6 of a second race lead. Clifford Evan and DJ Alessandrini now working together down the front stretch, tangoing up to try to run down that yellow and blue 688.
It's not going to be this friendly to turn 4. I can almost guarantee you that. Although it looks like DJ kind of backed off a little bit, but maybe he's going to try and get a run through 3 so that he can take that passing opportunity to 4.
And Eric Catil, he's got Shane Sullivan to the inside. He's dropping down positions. He was battling for the lead a lap ago. Now he's stuck back in 5th. The run down through 4 and 5, though, this is a crucial moment for Evan and Alessandrini. They're going to work together and try to close this gap and leave themselves one last opportunity to get by Lupfer at the front of the field.
Max just has to drive a clean last lap, and he's got this in the bag. He's just got to make sure he hits his marks and doesn't drive too conservatively, because those 2 are going to catch him, and they're not going to play nice.
Evan was so good on the brakes into turn number 5. Now Lupfer into 6 and 7. Now nice and tidy on the left. Should be nice and tidy on the right. DJ's dropped off quite a bit. I think it's now between these front 2, Evan and Lupfer. And DJ could be waiting for those front 2 to start scrapping.
Yeah, it looks like DJ maybe broke a little bit too early for 4, and that's where he kind of started to lose track. Oh, and Evan makes a dive, and Max somehow maintains position, and as they go into the carousel, Max is in a good spot now because Evan's going to lose all of his momentum, and DJ's going to try and attack him through the carousel into the kink.
Lap car up ahead, shouldn't be an issue. Lupfer almost lost the lead there. Evan with a big dive. I think he missed his braking point. I don't think he meant to dive down there because it killed his momentum here, but DJ is back, and these 2 are going to work together here as they head through Kettle Bottoms. A big run out of the kink, sideways for the number 8 of Alessandrini. Now the drag race to Canada corner, the northernmost end of the circuit. Evan with a huge run. Lupfer protects on driver's right. Now Evan's going to sneak over to the left side of the racetrack, try to get overlap. He's there. Going to try the crossover at the exit of turn 12. Here he comes.
This is where it's going to get tough. These guys are going to try and challenge each other through 13 and 14 into 14. Again, Max just has to run a clean line through 14, and he's got it in the bag.
DJ wanted the inside, couldn't do it. Here comes Evan up the inside. Contact, they crash, they collide. Lupfer sideways off the end of the racetrack. Here comes DJ for the race lead, and Shane Sullivan to second, and DJ Alessandrini from third to first in the final corner as the two leaders collide. Checkered flag and sweet for DJ Alessandrini from Road America.
Yeah, I don't know if DJ did that on purpose, if he saw the aggression and he wanted to back off, but that was not a fair move from Evan on Max. I think I don't think that's the way that Evan wanted to make that happen, and Max just drove his line, and I think Evan just got a little bit too aggressive.
Well, let's go back and have a look at it here in slow motion. I want to get a good look at this. I think Evan saw the door open. I just don't think that there was room, but maybe Lupfer did leave a lane. Let's go back and have a look here. And up from high above, before we make too much comment, yeah, Evan just sends it in, though, and he's way offline. And I think that Lupfer didn't do anything wrong there. Yeah,
that was never going to work. I mean, I think Lupfer was maybe understeering a little bit into there, but Evan just kind of sent it, and that's not the place you want to do it. That whole track kind of starts cambering away from you, and if you don't have the car all set before you get to close to the apex, you're just going to run wide, and I think that's what happened there.
Well, that's right on board with Alessandrini as he was following these two up the hill. Evan slams the door here. DJ couldn't get overlap, backs out. Evan sends it down the inside. They touch, and DJ just sneaks over to the right, and Lupfer just sees the checkered flag get smaller and smaller as DJ goes by.
Yeah, and if you're racing close with people behind you, out of 14, the run to the finish line is pretty long, and there was nothing he could do there. He didn't have any momentum coming out of 14, unfortunately for Max.
Here's Lupfer. See Evan in the mirror, off to the right. There's the contact, tried to counter steer. Did a good job hanging onto the car. He still finished fourth, but that was all it took to lose the race lead.
Yeah, he was lucky not to lose it completely. That was great car control for Max, honestly.
All right, let's have a look at our race results. And as soon as I can find the graphic, there we go. Alessandrini again. How about leading one lap, Ito?
Hey, it's the last lap. That's all that matters.
They only give you the trophy for leading the last one. Eric Cattell ends up 22nd at the end of that race. Didn't see what happened to him. I'd imagine it was a collision on the final lap or close to it. Other than that, no major dramas. I mean, Ryan Kristoff 14th again in that one. James Houghton up to 10th place in race number 2. That's a good climb from his starting spot at 23rd. And Jeff Tyler all the way from the back of the field, which was 20th to 5th. 15 spots in 7 laps. That's a great climb for Tyler.
Yeah, and Road America is a place where there's plenty of passing opportunities. If he was in that position in some place like Mid-Ohio, that would have been a much tougher climb, but still a great drive from him.
We're going to step away for just a moment. We're going to grab a couple people to talk to, and we'll be right back from SimTV. Hang with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, it It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake. Not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek. Road America, the racetrack, the National Park of Speed.
Welcome back live to Sim TV for the Grid Life iRacers Mustangs from Road America, the Friday night special. We're here now with our 10th place Race 2 finisher, James Houghton. James, it's been a wild year for you, but tonight, just as wild. Race number 1, a collision early in the race set you back 23rd to 10th at the tail end of that race. Take me through both races tonight and your charge forward in the second race.
Yeah, it was fun, and I did a better job in qualifying than I kind of expected to do, and stayed out of trouble for that first half of the lap. And then I think it was Tony and I got together coming out of that right-hander there, which was frustrating. I felt bad for him and myself because I felt like I had good pace there, but I just tried to keep it really clean in the second one and just kind of take people as I could, and through some other people having incidents and stuff like that, we've managed a top 10 out of it. So that was pretty exciting. I don't think I had any top 10s in the previous 2 seasons. So that was pretty fun.
Well, you were mentioning that you've been doing a lot of oval track stuff lately and kind of getting thrown to the wolves here in the road racing stuff. What's it like jumping back into the esport thing after so long being out of it and jumping into a group that's this competitive and this fast?
I mean, someone posted in the group earlier today that 3 out of the top 7 fastest people on this track car configuration period were in this race tonight. So it's pretty impressive, the level of talent in this group. And like I said, I've been doing like the oval iRacing thing basically all summer, and I've been doing a little bit of road course stuff here and there, but I just wanted to get more comfortable with these crazy packs on track. And I find a lot of the kind of regular official races that are road course races, there's not a lot of really close quarters racing. They spread out a lot, and it kind of goes like that. But the oval track stuff that I've done this summer, I think, has made me feel much more comfortable in these big fields. And hopefully, whenever we get started in a kind of a Grid Life official series again, I'll be a little bit more ready for that.
Well, it's great to see you back here on the Grid Life iRacers events, and hopefully we can get you back here in the States soon to race your epic V8 supercar, NASCAR, whatever it looks like car. It's one of my favorite cars out there. So please be back soon, and we'll see you again soon.
As soon as that border opens up, we'll be there.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thanks so much.
Moving on now to Max Lutfer, who ended up finishing in 4th place in the second race of the night. Max, it looked like it was your race all the way to the checkers, but the last corner, things didn't quite go your way. Take us through it.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate luck there. Coming down to the last few laps, I was starting to think, oh, maybe I got enough of a gap that those guys won't end up on my bumper before we get to the finish line. But coming down the backstretch into Canada Corner, saw that Clifford was far enough behind and wasn't really going to make a move. And at that moment, I started thinking, oh, this might be my chance. Because from the first race, I kind of knew that you couldn't get that much of a draft up the hill to pass someone by the start finish. So I was thinking, well, if I can leave Canada in the lead, I'm not going to be able to get past through the next few corners, and I should be able to make it out onto the front stretch in the lead, and that should be enough. But probably a little bit too opportunistic there for Clifford. Late braked himself into my side. I tried to give him some space to avoid that, but it just wasn't meant to be that time.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun racing there with Eric earlier in the event, but so not quite the way you wanted to finish there, Max, but hopefully you had a smile on your face at some point in that race, because it was a lot of fun to watch you up towards the front there. So close, yet so far, about a couple hundred yards from the line there, Max. So better luck next time, and we'll see you out there.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Sure thing. And moving on to last but certainly not least, it's going to be DJ Alessandrini in the number 8 car. 2 for 2. Wasn't looking like it until the last corner in race 2, DJ. Race 1 had some good battles there, some contact that made things a little bit easier. But race 2, wow, that was wild.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was literally going to say that was wild. It's just, it was a fight the entire race. And, you know, I was trying to play nice with people when that made sense. And I was being aggressive when that made sense. And I was a little bit of a dick to Cliff at some point during that. And I apologized immediately to him because I pushed wide a little bit. And I could have lifted, but I thought I might clear him, and then I didn't, and we got hooked together, and I kind of just shoved him off the track. So my fault on that. I don't want to race like that, and I don't want to be raced like that. So apologies to Cliff if he's listening to this. And then I wasn't making his life easy on that last lap, and I was just like trying to figure out a way to win from third, which in the Mustangs is very tough. Miatas, you can do it, but the Mustang, you know, we all don't have a bunch of experience in this. So I was just mixing it up, just trying to make something happen. And I think what happened, because there's no way Cliff's very good. He's a very good racer. He races low 206 karts. He's won like multiple championships in the Midwest area in real life in that. And he's a very, very, very talented iRacer. And I know that he didn't throw it in on Max I don't think he was trying to pass him there. I think what happened is I was taking up all his mirror and bandwidth, and I think he just misstepped his car a little bit. That's what I think happened at the end. But hey, I'm not complaining. Win's a win, and it sure was fun. And I think if that happened in real life, I would have been like fist pumping going across a finish line. That was real exciting, guys. iRacing's really fun.
It is super fun, and DJ, we know how good you are at this, and we know how good you are in the real world too. We head to Road America next week. You think you can sweep the weekend there?
No, Kyle, come on. I think I can win a race. But this next weekend is going to be the most stacked GLTC race GLTC has ever seen. The only thing that would make it more stacked is if Houghton was able to show up. That would be the only thing that make it more stacked. Like every fast player that has ever done a GLTC race is going to be there. Like Todd Cayley's going to be there. And, you know, the regulars like Eric and Aaron, and you got the rest of the winning formula guys, you know, Woody and Rob and Emil. Emil's real fat. Like like getting top five is going to feel like a win. And if you're on the podium, it's going to feel like you won the championship. Like next weekend is going to be so lit, and I just can't wait for it. It's going to be so awesome.
DJ, thanks so much for talking to us tonight, and we'll see you next week, and good luck to you out there.
Thanks. I'll see you there.
All righty. And with that, that's going to wrap things up tonight. Thanks for joining me. That was a blast. As always, Grid Life is always a blast, whether it's in the real world or whether it's in the sim environment. But take me through your first experience up here in the booth, watching from a different angle. It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah, and these guys are really skilled, and I was lucky to be commentating on a track like Road America, which sees a lot of action. So yeah, it was you made it about as easy as it can be for me. So thanks, Kyle. You're very welcome. That's going to do it for us tonight. This is just a one-off event. Nothing else in the immediate future for Grid Life iRacers here on SimTV, but keep your eye out. The next thing that you will see, though, is actually going to be next week. Make sure it's Friday and Saturday that you're looking. Make sure that you follow Grid Life on Facebook because we will be doing one of these events live on the air at the Grid Life Elkhart Classic broadcast. For the real event, we'll have an iRacing event that anybody and everybody can join, so make sure that you follow us on Facebook, SimTV, which is a link in the description, or follow Grid Life on Facebook as well to make sure that you're tuned in to do that live on the air in front of 100,000 people. That's the way to do it. Thanks so much for watching here. My name's Kyle Heyer with Ito Waxman. We'll see you next time from SimTV.